Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. On this channel, I talk about all things narcissism. I answer the questions of viewers who send in emails, and I answer any questions that they might have in regards to narcissism. And if you have a question that you would like for me to answer right here on my YouTube channel, just send it to justaskmatt@MattPfeifferCoaching.com. And I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Just make sure that you keep your email 2 to 3 paragraphs max and being very direct and to the point of the question that you might have. I have a lot of emails I have to get through, and I also have a lot of paid coaching clients that I have to get to, and I post on a lot of other social media platforms. So to keep it fair, we have to keep it very short, very concise, and it also makes it a lot easier for me to read right here online. So also make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you hit the subscribe notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload videos 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, so you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. The fastest way to get my help, though, is to book a paid coaching session by going to MattPfeifferCoaching.com. And if you do that, I would love to help you out. I'd love to help you out with any situation that you might have dealing with any narcissist that you might have in your life. With that being said, let me get to this email. So this email reads, "Hi, my husband and I have been married for 7 years now. We married at 26 years old. When we met, he was already divorced. Got his girlfriend pregnant at 19 years old. In our relationship, I got a skewed idea that he was able to be a responsible human being because he paid rent for a family, car, etc. with his ex-wife. I thought, okay, this guy knows how to be responsible when he has to be. You have to be careful with that, right? I tell people all the time when they are dating, read people like a book, not like a resume. Quite often when we like someone, if they're cute, if they're pretty, if they're hot, if the sex is great, if you're having great dates and there's great chemistry, right? And chemistry is actually a problem. I'll do a video on that another time. But when there's good chemistry, we overlook a lot of different things and we just start checking off boxes. They have a great job, they have a good car, they're a lot of fun to hang out with. We need to read people like a book, and we need more detail behind the things that we're checking off, right? Not just that they have a great job, but how long have they been there? Do they get along with the people that they work with? A lot more detail, right? So this email continues. We got along, and she put in capital letters, so well on a person-to-person basis. When I start hearing that type of language, when people are saying, we got along so well, it was great, the sex was great, the dates were great, the vacations were great. I felt like this person was my soulmate. I didn't think I ever found anyone like this. We got along so well. Typically, that's a red flag. Because narcissists put on a great front in the beginning. People call it the love bomb for a reason, right? The idealization phase where everything is close to perfect. And you see what happens, and this is what they do. They distract you from the real issues. So this email continues, I ignored, you see that right there? She ignored because she was distracted by the other stuff. I ignored the fact that he had a Hummer with rims and custom interior, etc., that in hindsight was a warning sign. Completely blew past the red flags, right? There's nothing wrong with having a car with rims and that sort of thing on the surface, right? If that's your thing, there's nothing wrong with it. But like I said before, you read people like a book, not like a resume. So there was a lot of other issues behind these type of behaviors in this situation. Fast forward, we have 2 kids together. I make way less money than he does, yet I pay all the bills. He doesn't give me money to help pay them. I buy diapers, groceries, and 90% of the kids' clothes. He has 2 cars and a motorcycle. Each time he gets a car, God forbid he leaves it as is. He won't leave it as factory. He has to soup it up. He has to get probably a sound system in it and, rims and really soup it up. He has to custom the shit out of it, despite me telling him we can't afford, and he's throwing away money that we can use for the bills. This is what narcissists do, and this is very indicative of financial abuse. This is financial abuse. They use all your money for all the responsible stuff, but they use their money for all the play stuff because it's very important for a narcissist to live a very lavish lifestyle, right? There's never, ever any compromise with a narcissist. On the surface, there's nothing wrong with having some of these things, right? Number one, if you can afford it. Number two, if your spouse and you communicate and you guys agree on some of these things, and there has to be balance, right? So let me continue with this email. He also has the motorcycle he bought, despite me telling him he bought a motorcycle without, even though she said that she was not okay with it. He also has a shopping addiction. You wouldn't believe the amount of clothes and shoes he has stuffed in the house. She doesn't say this here, but I want to talk about this actually when it comes to financial abuse, because quite often when you tell people, especially if it's a woman narcissist, right? Or, and it sounds like I'm being sexist, but the reason why I specifically said woman, right, is because quite often gender biases come into play when it comes to this type of thing, right? So if there's a female narcissist and she has a shopping addiction and you see these type of financial abuse type of issues, guess what happens when you go to a therapist, when you go to a friend? Oh, my wife does that too. But they don't understand that this is in excess, right? She probably does this even in her situation, goes to people and goes to her friends, goes to her family, and they don't understand how excessive this actually is, to the point where it's become financial abuse. Because a lot of people like to shop. I like to shop. And shopping is fun for a lot of people. But when it's in excess and when they do it to the detriment of their spouse, we have to now start looking at financial abuse. So this email continues. Anytime I tell him things need to change, sometimes he will agree and seems to understand, but doesn't actually change. That's very true of all narcissists, that on the surface, yeah, I agree with you. They might say all the right things, but you will notice that there's actually no change in behavior. And quite often they'll just spin it back on you and say that you're the one that's to blame. Oh, you don't make as much money as I do, so you can't spend the money that I do, and you can't live the life that I do because you don't make the money that I do. Or they'll blame you for not being able to pay the bills because you don't make enough money, not understanding that their money is the part of the money, that the household money, that's being blown. I explained to him how every time he comes home with more new clothes, shoes, or some stupid shit for his car, it's like a slap in the face to me because I never had any money. If my account is in the negative, it isn't in the negative. It's always close to it, and I'm the type of person that likes to be responsible with money. His excuse is always, I never had these things as a kid. You hear this often from narcissists. Because they want you to feel bad for them. They want you to have a level of empathy for them, and they want you to, because why can't he have half of those things or a part of those things, right? Why can't he live a nice lifestyle without it being detrimental to the rest of his family? We never had money, so this is his quote. This is his quote continued. I never had these things as a kid. We never had money, so now that I'm older and have some money, I can have them. And so that's the close quote to what he always says. He's obsessed with the way people look at him. Very, very true of narcissists. He's got to have a cool car. Loves to sport name brands like Louis V, Gucci, those sorts of things. Those sorts of name brand items. When we over, sorry, I don't understand what she's saying here. He wants to have Rolexes, expensive shoes. You name it. If there's something expensive, he wants it. I don't want to sit here and say that he's a shit human being. He constantly tries to be affectionate and say that he loves me and says, I never want to be affectionate with him. But truthfully, and I want to pause there for a second, because quite often you hear this when people they start to defend the narcissist and they start to say, they start to see the good in them. We can't excuse the abuse because of some of the other stuff that they might do that are positive. The reason why I say that is quite often a narcissist will offer tokens. The abuse does not work if there is not some good things in between. There's even the most codependent person on the face of the planet would not stay with someone where it is all bad all the time. What makes it very confusing for a lot of people is that there's some good. It's just that the good does not outweigh the bad. The abuse does not outweigh the handful of tokens, the affection, right? And he's saying that she's not affectionate with him. Why? Because she's being abused. But then he uses that as his excuse. Well, this is the reason why I buy things, because I have to treat myself and I need to do this. And you're not the loving wife that I expected. And, she doesn't necessarily say this, but that would probably be the reason why he would leave, or his excuse for cheating, right? And that's where this is where these type of things start to spiral out of control. So let me get back to this email. He constantly tries to be affectionate, and he says he loves me and says, I never want to be affectionate with him. But truthfully, I'm so mad at him. No, I don't feel like being affectionate because she's being treated like shit. I believe that his feelings for me are real. I'll touch on that in a second, but not in the way that he thinks. I am married to a narcissist, chauvinistic, financial abuser. Thanks for your help. So the reason why I pause there, quite often because of these tokens, right, we think that the narcissist loves us, right? But we have to think about and she actually said it in the email. He cares about his image. You are a part of his image, right? That he has his life together, right? But we can't burn ourselves to keep somebody else warm, right? That's what we do. That's what people typically do in these type of relationships. You will allow for him to continue to drain you financially. And now that you are being drained financially, I can tell by this email and the fact that you are not affectionate with him and those sorts of things, that you are also being drained mentally. You're being drained emotionally. And this is what happens with narcissists, when you're with a narcissist. You're drained, and before you know it, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. And guess what the narcissist does? Keep in mind, there's 3 phases to the narcissistic relationship. There's the idealization phase. Then you move to the devaluation phase, which is this financial abuse that we're talking about. Then there's the discard phase. That's the reason why, even though maybe it hasn't happened, right? But this type of narcissist and that likes to be seen, right, quite often likes to cheat. Why do you think that he likes this lavish lifestyle? He likes attention. Well, if the right person gives him the type of attention that he wants, he would have no problem stepping out, because keep in mind, he doesn't have a problem. If you're bringing up the fact that you have a problem with the financial abuse and he doesn't care, think about when someone is giving him the attention and the affection that he's saying that he wants. Guess what? He's not going to have a problem with that either, because narcissists lack empathy. So he can't put himself in your shoes to know how you would feel in these type of situations. And he would never take responsibility for his actions with the financial abuse, or if he does step out to cheat as well. So this is a big time issue. This is something that is beginning to spiral out of control. And a lot of times people don't feel like financial abuse is a reason to leave a situation. And it absolutely is. Right? Because if your financial future, how are you supposed to retire? What if there's an emergency? He's not going to be the type to sell the Hummer to try to take care of the kids. God forbid if there's an emergency or anything like that. That's not what narcissists do. He's more likely to hit the eject button than he would to sell the Hummer or get rid of his rims or anything like that. You have a decision to make here, right? And You may be in a situation where a lot of people look at this lavish lifestyle and they say, you have it all. You have a husband that makes great money, but they don't understand the behind the scenes. You need to stand in your truth and understand that what you are dealing with is a very big problem. Once again, I can tell by your email that the financial abuse is the surface stuff, but you're being drained emotionally. You're being drained mentally, and before you know it, you won't even recognize yourself. So thank you for writing in. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you have an email that you would like for me to respond to right here on the air, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Make sure it is 2 to 3 paragraphs max, being very direct to the point of the question that you have. Also, if you would like to book a paid coaching session with me, go to mattpfeiffercoaching.com. And I would love to respond to anything that you have or talk to you about anything that you have. And we will go from there. Until then, I will talk to you soon.